Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीसाग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णा प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य वेशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं devotees for joining today. So we say Harinama Sankirtana Mahayagni ki Jai. We say that, right? They can go there. A bit too far. It's already been fixed. Not to spoil the arrangement. Or maybe Prabhus can go here and Mataji's maybe. So we usually say Harinama Sankirtanam Mahayagni ki Jai. So the whole purpose of life is to give back ourselves that I have stolen from Krishna. So in all other forms of yajna, sometimes dravyam is given, sometimes our thought is given, or sometimes our prana is given. In this way, in different yajnas, different things are offered, or different entities are offered. Does anyone know where does Krishna talks about different types of yajna? In the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, you could say Krishna talks about the principle of yajna, but where does Krishna talk about the different types of yajna? Huh? Yes, okay. Does anyone know a shloka? Krishna saying, you can take the shloka, Evam Bahuvidha Yajnaha. So Krishna says, Yajna Kshapita Kalmashaha. Yajna Kshapita Kalmashaha. Evam Bahuvidha Yajna, Yajna Kshapita Kalmashaha. So there are different yajnas, and there are Sarva Karma Kiram Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Basically, Krishna, just one shloka before, one of the most important shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, which is 4.34. Does anyone know what shloka is 4.34? It is 4.34. Tadvidhi Pranipatena, where Krishna says you have to go to a spiritual master. So some people say I'll surrender to Krishna directly, but Krishna himself tells that you have to surrender to me through a spiritual master. So anyway, so I was telling Krishna wants us to surrender to different types of yajnas, right? But we say Harinama Sankirtana Mahayajna. The reason it is Mahayajna is because in all these yajnas, there are different items that are offered. There is dravyam offered, there is prana offered. But in no yajna, one's intention to love the Lord is offered. Okay? One's intention that we are telling Krishna, Krishna, I have forgotten you. I have suffered so much being independent of you. I am tired of carrying this burden And along with this burden, I am also denying you. I'm very tired of cheating. I'm very tired of deceitfulness. So, what did I get out of this deceitfulness? What did I get out of this cheating? What did I get out of this pretense? What did I get out of planning? I should talk to this person, I should not talk to this person. This person is close to me, this person is not close to me. Where did it all take me? So, Krishna, this is not good, right? So, I please you forgive me, of all my uh, fallacies. Please accept me at your lotus feet, Krishna. So, when we are offering our love to Krishna, in other processes, this love cannot be offered. But in Harinam, when we chanting Harinam, this love is very easily understood. You know why? Because Harinam is chanted, can be chanted only by people who think themselves as the lowest. Trinadapi Sunichena, right? So one cannot, of course, Mahaprabhu is telling only one who's chanting the holy name of the Lord, one who's having a humble state of mind can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. There is also a purport by Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada is saying that one who's constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord will eventually become absolutely humble. That is also true. Right? So, but it is not even possible to chant the holy name of the Lord even for a moment properly without genuine humility, without considering that I am very low, I am unfit, and without this idea, one cannot chant the holy name. It's not possible. Even properly for one mantra or one mala, very difficult. The mind will go here, there, iti uti paya. It will go here and there, right? So it is very difficult. So this is called Mahayajna because here, because of that humility, we are able to feel my own mistake of having left Krishna, of doing so many false things, to impress people, to get this, to get that. So much I have done. Right? So Krishna, I have come back to you again. So this plea we are able to tell Krishna. And because we are offering the ultimate entity we have stolen from Krishna, so it is called the Mahayajna. It is the heaviest entity. Correct? Sometimes when you, I don't know, during the marriage time, so many mantras are done and everyone is like, distracted here, there. But as soon as, when the some important event happens, when they are going to tie the garland or something like that, everyone's attention is on the bridegroom, and then everyone starts checking their phone right now, and starts, shooting, and during, I don't know, different customs, but the traditional Vedic marriage is when the saptapati is done, or sometimes, when the thread mangalyam is tied around the bride's neck, right? So this is, of course, this is there, but this is not the real Vedic marriage. The Vedic marriage is actually the seventh thing. Anyway, my point is, everyone starts focusing because it's the most important event. Or sometimes during, I remember when I used to go to, for these temple festivals, they used to do this big yajna and all that, and there will be the most important thing, especially when they offer prasadam, everyone will start thinking, because they will do this panchamritam and everything, and when this is being offered, everyone's attention, okay, this program is going to get over and you're going to have prasadam because the most important thing is going to be offered. So everyone, wherever they are, they'll come to the temple, and so this is there, right? Similarly, Krishna becomes very eager in this yajna because he's the gainer, right? So Krishna he's the Yajneshwara, he's the gaining. So Krishna becomes very eager because we are offering this, we are offering that, I'm giving $100 to the temple, I'm giving $200 here, $300. Okay, fine, chalega. Right, good, that's fine. Right? Or I remember, Krishna for some time, something like that, Krishna is fine, okay, good. But when we are telling Krishna more and more and more, we are trying to love Krishna, right? Krishna, I love you and I left you. I want to hear about you. So when we are feeling that towards Krishna, attention, we are giving our attention to Krishna as a person, Krishna as a person, right? So Krishna becomes very interested, and Krishna's all attention is on us. And when Krishna's attention is on us, we can have our attention on the holy name. Right? It is not a, it is not a, what do you say? It's not a self effort process, right? Where we can't do that. So we have to, when Krishna sees the heaviest entity, I think I mentioned this some time ago, right? The heaviest entity in this whole world is our false ego, because this whole material world sits on false ego, right? So our false ego is an expansion of that original false ego. So when I am offering that entity in this yajna, and when do we offer that false ego into that yajna? When we are showing our love to the Lord. Only when there is love will there be no ego, false ego, right? Apart from everywhere else, there will be some false ego, there will be some boundaries, right? I can appreciate someone who's very knowledgeable, but it won't touch my heart. Say I'm quoting 10 shlokas together, tuck, 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 tuck. But it need not touch my heart. I'll be impressed, yes. But touching the heart, no. So I can impress someone with my knowledge, but if someone is touched by someone's love, then they can give anything to that person. Even if I'm impressed with that person, I need not sacrifice all I have. It's okay, right? I'm happy you're spending time with me. I feel a little more important, but I don't feel like sacrificing something for you. Correct? So this is it's a very personal process where we are offering our own self to the Lord, and our own self means our sense of love, our sense of affection, our sense of importance to Krishna. Krishna, I should remember you. In the afternoon I didn't remember you. I should hear about you. Why am I still living? I'm diseased, Krishna, because I was hearing a lecture of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj was mentioning, like, if one is not actually chanting in ecstasy, if one is not crying when he comes before the deity form of the Lord, when one chants the holy name of the Lord, one's hair is not standing on one's end while chanting the holy name, basically Bhagavatam mentions the same thing, then one should understand that one is in diseased condition, right? So one should understand one's natural position is to be with the Lord. That is the natural position, right? So genuineness. So because that is what we want to get. This is where we want to get. So where do we begin? From a place of genuineness. And we are trying to understand the most genuine nature of our own self. Is it not? Can we get to that genuine place by a sense of any pretense? No, it's not possible. So Krishna consciousness means to give up pretentiousness. That's all. Right? That's all. Because it's natural. Right? So whenever we are genuine, we are making progress. Whenever and wherever we are genuine, we are making progress. And whenever I am pretentious, that is the ultimate anartha. Correct? That is the ultimate anartha. So the more and more I am genuine, so that is accountability. So I tell Krishna, I tell my spiritual master, I tell devotees that I am suffering. That means you are making great progress. You are making great progress. If I tell Krishna, very good. If I tell the spiritual master, even better. If I tell devotees my problems, then that is even better. That means I'm being genuine that, yes. Right. Anyway, my point is to say Krishna becomes very interested when we do this yajna of Harinam Sankirtan. So that is why it is called Harinama Sankirtan Mahayajna. So Harinam Sankirtan Mahayajna ki Jai. So if we do this in the association of devotees and we chant and dance, then everything is dropped. All our pretentiousness, all this, all that, all the need to do all of that becomes dissipated. Just like fog gets dissipated in the Sankechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayanaha Agam Dunmanti Karsneya Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. Right? So in the Delhi mist, if you drive, right, it's only there until 6 o'clock, 7 a.m., 7:30, 8 o'clock. But Bhaskaraha, right? When the sun comes, then everything dissipates. Similarly, Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we are chanting the name of the Lord with great dependence, with great humility, continuously, without any break, then what happens? As much as possible, as much as possible. Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. Then in that assembly where this Harinam Sankirtana is done, in that place where holy name is chanted, all the bad qualities are like fog. What is it like? Fog. All our anarthas are like fog. You can't see what's the front. It's very difficult to go ahead in life. You are not able to. You don't know what is the next step to take. I can't take a right, I can't take a left. This happened actually in 2014, Detroit. Just started learning the car, to drive the car, in US and everything. I did not know how to keep lanes, and to make things worse, I had a manual gear. So I was just getting outside the Detroit temple. There was complete fog. I did not know to put D mist and all that. I did not know all that. So I started driving. Then I accelerated, and then instead of getting outside the gate of the ISKCON Detroit temple, I rammed the wall of this thing, and like it's a full dent. Right? I couldn't see. Because there was fog. I couldn't see. Right? But Bhaskaraha, when the sun is there, the sun of the holy name is there, then Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. This Bhaskara, this fog is dissipated. Everything that is clouding our intelligence is removed. And whatever we have believed, we will understand it to be completely false. Whatever we saw very dark, I can't see anything outside, there is nothing beauty, there is no trees, there are no this, there is no that, I can't see anything. But when Bhaskara rises in one's heart, then we can see everything clearly. So this is the process of Harinama Sankirtanam, chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is characterized by genuineness. Right? And more we do so, then we can see things very clearly. Okay. Harinam Sankirtan Mahayagna ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki. Any questions or comments? So you have to serve Shri Harinam Prabhu very attentively. If you are not serving, then you will have so many problems. Right? You will have so many problems. And to solve those problems, we have to attend another seminar. Right? And to solve those problems, we need to go through some other things, and it will take 20, 30, 40 years or another lifetime. Why delay? Right? Why make things more complex? Right? So we should not delay this. So that being said, today is a very auspicious appearance of a very important personality in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Shri Shrivas Thakur. Oh really? Oh really? Okay. Like that. Okay. I saw a lecture in the same month of June. Is it this appearance also in the month of June? Okay. Okay. Huh? Disappearance. Okay. Okay. So it is a disappearance of. Sorry, ask forgiveness. So this is the disappearance day of Shrivas Thakur, who is one of the most elevated devotees. So we chant his names every time we are chanting the Panchatattva mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Shrivas Thakur was characteristic of these qualities we discussed: genuineness, humility, ecstasy in chanting the holy name. Very humble devotee that Mahaprabhu himself chose that if at all I have to exhibit my most intimate symptoms, it would have to be in Shiva Sangam. It would have to be in Shrivas Thakur's house. To choose someone's house where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting his most ecstatic pastimes, right? It could be his Mahaprakash Leela, all the during the night time, Mahaprabhu spent the bulk of that time in Shiva Sangam only. Always chanting in ecstasy, dancing in ecstasy, and we didn't sleep. So this happened in the house of Shrivas Thakur, and of course we'll see some of his pastimes. Shrivas Thakur is actually none other than Srila Narada Muni, who is appearing to assist the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So each one of these 5 personalities we talk about: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, then Sri Gadadhar Pandit, and then Srivas Thakur. They actually represent, not represent, they are the personification of different tattvas. That is why we say Pancha Tattva. The Advaitins believe only in one tattva. Jagat Satyam, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Iti Vedanta Dindimaha. This is the Vedanta Dindima. Dindima means like dun 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 dun, they say, right? So this is their philosophy. There is only one truth, one reality. But to make things worse for someone coming from there, like, so we say two, we say three, but it's not just 2, 3, 4, but it's 5. There are 5 tattvas we need to understand, right? Of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, very difficult, because we can understand at least the Lord, the Jiva, and material nature. All of that we can understand. But what is this Pancha Tattva? We don't understand that. So I'll talk on maybe a few pastimes. Maybe when we read one shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, smaller crowd devotees are traveling. So I'll try to maybe get to these pastimes quicker. 7:40, we'll read for 10 minutes. We'll read one shloka of Bhagavad Gita from the 16th chapter we were reading. If you don't have Bhagavad Gita, then I can just read and you can just follow. So if we read this 16.23, we can read 16.24. And repeat after me. Tasmad Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. Tasmad Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Tasmad Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Anyone else? Tasmad Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Anyone else? Tasmad Shastram Pramanam Te
Karya Karya Vyavasthitau.
Karya Karya Vyavasthitau.
Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam.
Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam
Karma Kartum Ihahasi.
Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Units. Read, someone can read. Tasmat Shastram, yes. Even if you get it wrong, it's okay. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Units. Okay. Tasmat. Therefore. Shastram. The scriptures. Pramanam. Evidence. Te. Your. Karya. Duty. Akarya. And forbidden activities. Vyavasthitau. In determining. Jnatva. Knowing. Shastra. Of scripture. Vidhana. the regulations, uktam, as declared, karma, work, kartum, do, iha, in this world, arhasi, you should. You want to read the translation?
One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Thank you. Anyone wants to read the translation one more time?
One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Someone wants to read the purport? Someone read the purport?
As stated in the 15th chapter, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. If one understands Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita and becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engaging himself in devotional service, he has reached the highest perfection of knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And to engage in the devotional service of the Lord and eat the remnants of foodstuff offered to the deity. One who is directly engaged in all these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all Vedic literature. He has come to the conclusion perfectly. Of course, for the ordinary persons who are not in Krishna consciousness or who are not engaged in devotional service, what is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. One should act accordingly without argument. That is called following the principles of Shastra or scripture. Shastra is without the four principal defects that are visible in the conditioned soul: imperfect senses, the propensity for cheating, certainty of committing mistakes, and certainty of being illusioned. These four principal defects in conditioned life disqualify one from putting forth rules and regulations. Therefore, the rules and regulations as described in the Shastra, being above these defects, are accepted without alteration by all great saints, acharyas, and great souls. In India, there are many parties of spiritual understanding, generally classified as two: the impersonalist and the personalist. Both of them, however, lead their lives according to the principles of the Vedas. Without following the principles of the scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfectional stage. One who actually therefore understands the purport of the Shastras is considered fortunate. In human society, aversion to the principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. That is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of the threefold miseries. This material energy is constituted of the three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. Those in the modes of passion and ignorance deride the scriptures, deride the holy man, and deride the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, and they do not care for the regulations of scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not attracted. Thus they manufacture their own way of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to the demoniac status of life. If, however, one is able to be guided by a proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation, to the higher stage, then one's life becomes successful.
Very nice purport. So, Prabhupada makes in the first part of the purport things very simple. He said the very fact we are reading this Bhagavad Gita, we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and we are eating the remnants of the foodstuff offered to the deity. So Prabhupada says three things basically. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna mantra, one, and to engage in the devotional service of the Lord and eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deity. One who is directly engaged in all these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all Vedic literature. He has come to the conclusion perfectly. So if one is engaged in the bhakti of Krishna, Krishna also mentions this, Veda isha sarvair ahameva vedyaha. So if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, Krishna mentions another place also, Sarva guhyadamam bhuyaha shrinume paramam vachaha. This is the supreme secret. What is it? What is the supreme secret of Bhagavad Gita? Where does Krishna say? Sarva guhyatamam. This is the supreme secret I have to tell you. Where does Krishna say? It is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. But Krishna says, the whole Bhagavad Gita, he says, forget everything. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. I'm telling the supreme secret once more. Once more. Supreme secret I'll tell you. Shrunu me paramam vachaha. This is the highest thing I have ever have to say. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is saying, this is the highest thing I have to tell you. Where does Krishna say that? Okay, and what comes after that? So Krishna says in 18.64. Where does Krishna say this? 18.64. Which shloka does? So after that Krishna says, Man mana bhava. Mad bhaktaha, mad yaji, mam namaskuru. And Krishna says the same thing in the 9th chapter, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram idamuttamam, Pratyakshavagam dharmyam, Sukham kartum avyayam. And there also Krishna towards the end, what does he say? Man mana bhava, mad bhaktaha, mad yaji, mam namaskuru. So one within the core of the heart is remembering the lotus feet of the Lord very dearly, with affection, preeti yuktam, with great affection for the Lord. Then one is following the supreme instruction of the Shastra. There is nothing more to be said. This is the supreme instruction of the Vedas. If someone is following this in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is saying, that means you have already studied all the Vedic literatures. From morning to night, one is constantly remembering Krishna, always depending on him with affection, right? Remembering his pastimes, remembering his glories, right? Personally, affection. The more impersonal our meditation is, the more difficult it is to remember Krishna. Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam. And Krishna also doesn't prefer that so much. Because Krishna says, this is a supreme secret. What is it? Man mana bhava. If it is Krishna's impersonal form that Krishna wants us to meditate, then Krishna wouldn't have said man mana bhava. Because you can't meditate on Krishna's form with your mind. To meditate on Krishna's impersonal form, you have to detach yourself from the mind. Not with the mind you can't serve. It's not possible. So Krishna wants us to treat him as a person. Serve him. Right? We have to get worried for Krishna. Krishna, maybe he has eaten well or not, I don't know. Maybe did I wake up Krishna at the right time or not? Is Krishna satisfied or not? Is my spiritual master satisfied or not? So we have to start worrying about Krishna. Whatever you worry about, you remember. Correct or not? If you worry about something, will you remember that? Yes or no?
Yes.
So the best way to remember Krishna is to worry about Krishna. Right? So the more and more we worry about Krishna, or worry about this, the mood of the gopis, the moods of the Brajvasis. They are constantly worried about Krishna. This is why they are the best yogis. This is the most intimate way to be related to Krishna, is to be anxious about Krishna, is to be worried about Krishna, is to be angry at Krishna, is to be desiring Krishna. right? It is to be very upset about Krishna. So the more personal our bhav is towards Krishna, the more intimate it is. And the more perfect our yoga is. And the more impersonal our meditation is. Krishna is present everywhere. Okay, fine, good, that's fine. But even if you say Krishna is present everywhere, there must be a sense of personalism there. It is my dear Lord who is present everywhere. My master is present everywhere. Whatever your bhav. Right? So the more personal our meditation is, then we make faster progress. So this is what is actually the conclusion of the Vedas. So if you are fixing Krishna consciousness, you are automatically fulfilling the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita, the whole purpose of the Vedas. That's all. Whole Vedas is in your pocket or in your purse. It's like your phone. In Shastra they will say it is like, like a amalaki fruit. You have heard this? No? In Bhagavatam this comes in many places. The whole Shastra is like the amalaki fruit in the hands of Maitreya. Like Vidura is telling Maitreya Muni. The whole Shastra is like a amalaki fruit in your hand, which means it's like tangible. It's like tangible. Anything you say, you can say, give it. You can give it like that. So many people present Vedic literatures in a very abstract and a mystical way. Like, so if you ask a question to X person, he will not respond directly. He will say here, there, he will go here, there, and then you will forget the question only. And he will dodge the question most of the time. So people think it is abstraction is spiritual life. No. Right? There must be nischita jnanam. This is what is there, and this is why it is. Is there God or not? Yes, there is Bhagavan. Why am I not able to see it? Because you are in Maya. Simple. Is there God or not? And you will say God is not within you. He's energy, His field, His light. Making it abstract because you want to appear very mystical. No, Bhagavan is there. Right? Yes, of course, you can explain the impersonal form and all of that, but come straight to the question. Right? And is there soul or not? Is there rebirth? Yes. Yes, there is rebirth. So, anyway, my point is, for anyone who's practicing Krishna consciousness, remembering the Lord within your heart, the whole Vedas is in like a amalaki fruit in his palm. You don't have to worry whether I'm following all the rules and regulations carefully. Right? Nitpicking, hair splitting. Someone told one person in Nadia, Navadvip, right? He said, because you did XYZ, your prayashchitam is that you have to take some copper and then pour it into your ear. Something like that. And this person came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What to do? Right? Sometimes it was very strict that time. Some Muslims, they used to convert. They used to take water from this thing and they used to put. They say, because this person got contaminated because he got the Muslim water, he is no longer accepted in the Brahmana society. Right? In this way, they were very overly, extremely strict. Right? So when this person came to Mahaprabhu, like that, many people were, they used to do a lot of hair splitting. This Dharma Shastra says, that Dharma Shastra says, this is there, that is there. Now in Kali Yuga, if you start doing that, right, then it becomes very difficult to actually progress. So the best means of purification is because Dharma Shastra have to be intended in a way that there is samanvayam. Samanvaya means what? It must be reconciled. Not that I take one verse from here, that sometimes I want to be very strict. But while being very strict, I am following that principle, but I am lacking compassion. Sometimes I want to fulfill the rule of compassion. I want to be kind to everyone. But instead of being held in the means of being compassionate, I tend to become very harmful to others. Right? Like in the sense, I'm very compassionate, but I'll cheat you. Like for instance, the LGBT community or the, what do you say, the rainbow community, they say, right? You have to accept because, why? Because I identify as as a, what do you say, as a gender fluid person. Have heard that? You're out of the news then. I identify as a gender fluid person. I identify as this. I identify as that. So what is this dog? This dog is I identify as a gay. I identify as a lesbian. I identify as bisexual. I identify as a transgender. I know there are so many ABCD, so many things. It's like a big PhD, right? So, and people think to be compassionate means that I have to accommodate these delusions. People think that is only compassionate. Some person could say, I identify as a dog, or I identify as a black American, or I identify as a millionaire. I can't say that, right? So delusions cannot be normalized. People think if I accommodate all delusions and if I don't challenge those delusions, then I'm being compassionate. So their intention is good, they want to be compassionate. But because they're only wanting to be compassionate without understanding the holistic picture, they end up being delusion. You see, so all of these have to be reconciled. And that is what is Krishna consciousness. Right? Anyway, so we are all good, sitting pretty, because we are all trying to practice Krishna consciousness. Right? So we can congratulate ourselves. Right? We are following the essence of the Vedas. We are following the essence of the Vedas. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra and offering bhoga to the Lord, remembering the Lord within the core of our heart, hearing Krishna's pastimes, going for book distribution, cooking for the Lord. Doing all this, you are following the essence of the Shastra. Essence of the Shastra. Very good news, right? While you are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, if you just meditate on the fact, you are doing the best activity you have ever done in millions of lifetimes. And the mind will become, wow. Right? I'm doing the best activity I've ever done in millions of lifetimes. This is the best activity I could ever do right now. And what is the time? It is right now what I'm doing. Chanting. Wow. And compared to everyone in this apartment, if your apartment doesn't have any devotees, right, you can say, I'm doing the best activity. I'm doing the best activity. While I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, I'm doing the best activity. It's important. We must, congratulate ourselves for choosing the right thing, for choosing the right activity. And this pride is required. Right? I am distributing books. I'm pleasing my spiritual master. Yes, I'm doing something great. Right? I'm prioritizing Krishna consciousness over something else. Great. I'm trying to raise my children as devotees. Great. So when we are trying to do this with our effort, we must understand the fruit doesn't matter. It comes here, there. That's okay. I'm trying to do something to please Krishna, and Krishna is very kind. Spiritual master is very kind, and that is my victory. Yes, I've succeeded. I have succeeded today. I have succeeded today. We must have these meditations. We must have these assertions. It's very important. And if we are not saying that to ourselves, that means we can get lost, because we might think, I'm chanting but I'm not seeing Krishna in Tribhangi form, I don't see Krishna on the banks of Yamuna, I don't hear any flute like the gopis heard. My lust is there, my anger is there, this is there, that is there. Is it working at all? Right? Shraddha will become a little, tricky. So we must be very happy. Yes, very nice. So Prabhupada is saying, I'm following all the Vedas by doing these activities. Because the mind has got a lot of things, right? The mind will become a little agitated. Just please chant Hare Krishna mantra, read Bhagavad Gita. It's good. You are following the whole thing. Good. Habadi. Mind becomes very happy. Because I'm given something, because if you give too much for the mind to do, right? The mind becomes too strained. So Prabhupada is saying, if you simply chant Hare Krishna mantra, read Bhagavad Gita regularly, you are following the entire Vedic canon, Shastra. You are protected, you are good, you are done. You are taken care. Right? So by doing that, and if you do this with faith more and more and more, then we'll become attracted to doing that more and more and more. But for someone who's not here, Prabhupada is saying we have to follow the Shastra. Right? Why Shastra? Why not my own imagination? So Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions, you can repeat after me. Brahma Pramada Vipralipsa Karana Patava Arsha Vignya Vakye Nahi Dosha Ei Sabha. So Brahma, illusion. And then Pramada. Pramada means I'm like, because of being illusioned, I make mistakes. Vipralipsa. Vipralipsa means I want to cheat others. This tendency is there. Like for instance, I can say I am the new guru of the town. Vipralipsa. Though that is not mentioned in the Shastra, because a guru is a person who is called Vyasasana. What is a Vyasasana? This asana is called a Vyasa asana. Why? I have a great responsibility to repeat the same instruction that Vyasadeva has revealed to his disciples and over and over and over, and concluding in my spiritual master. I must be a representative of Vyasadeva. If I don't, then I'll get so many sinful reactions. As soon as I speak something out of the Shastra, right? Immediately I get sinful reactions. You might not get. Because I spoke that, immediately I'll get sinful reactions. Right? So there is a responsibility. So one can cheat oneself around, right? Vipralipsa in the matter of spiritual life also, Vipralipsa. And Karana Patava. Karana means what? Senses. And then Apatava. Apatava means it cannot understand things as they are. Karana Apatava. So because of illusions, tendency to commit mistakes, and then tendency to cheat others, and then defective senses. Right? Karana Patava. Defective perception. Because of all of these things, I can't say this is the absolute truth. That's like I say, I got a BMW. So let us change the speed limit from 70 miles per hour to 95. Can I change law in my house? Can I make laws? Can I manufacture laws? I've been in India for so long, I know I've been trained to drive left. I can't drive right. Let us change. I'll manufacture my own laws. Trump is trying to do that, right? But then many people are trying to, say, do this, do that. And he can also 3-4 years. Something, So in this way, we can't manufacture dharma in our house, in our apartment. People cannot say, I follow Sikh dharma. I follow Christian dharma. I follow Muslim dharma. I follow X dharma. I follow Y dharma. It's not possible. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Right? It is coming from the Lord. It is the law of the land. Right? So Narada Muni mentions this in the 7th canto. What is Samanya Dharma? What is Varnashrama Dharma? What is Bhagavata Dharma? Anyone has read the 7th canto here? These divisions. Right? So Narada Muni mentions what are the general qualities for all the divisions. See, this is all there. So, and one who is these 4 principles, defects in conditioned life, disqualify one from putting rules and regulations. Prabhupada saying in India there are many parties of spiritual understanding. The impersonal school, right? There are Sankhyites, there are the Advaitins. There are different types of Advaita also. There is Adi Shankara's Advaita. There is also Bhaskara Advaita. There is also Yadava Prakasha's Advaita. Right? So there are different types of Advaita. Prakari Advaitam, Prakara Advaitam. Different types of Advaita. And Shuddha Advaita. And there is Dvaita Advaita. There is Vishishta Advaita. There is Tattvavada. But all the Sampradayas accept the Vedam as Pramanyam. They accept the Shastra as Pramana. Though there are different schools. Even the Mimamsakas are those who are, like we have this Kumarila Bhatta. You have heard his name? Kumarila Bhatta. So he was a Mimamsaka. which means they do not accept that in the fact that life has something, ultimate purpose. So the goal is to go to a place and then, Swargalokana like that. Even they accept the Veda as Pramana. So though there are so many parties of spiritual understanding, everyone accepts Veda as Pramana. So one who understands the purport of the Shastra is considered fortunate. So Prabhupada is saying, very beautiful shloka, very beautiful line, you can repeat after me. In a human society, aversion to the principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sorry, I'll break it down. Aversion to the principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. So when we accept this principle, I am your praja, you have made some laws, I'll accept those laws. Because of not accepting these laws, we suffer in life. Very simple. There is a law, the husband has to marry a person before he has union with her. This is a law. But if I try to overstep that, then there is slap from the material nature. Or I'm saying I should not lie. Satyam bruyat. But I'm lying. But by lying I get caught. Right? One lecturer in my college, he exactly caught me red-handed when I lied. Because I said I did not submit their assignment. I said I submitted their assignment. Right? I wasn't Krishna conscious, got introduced, but still I was lying. I'm still lying. Right now also I'm not free from this quality, honestly. What I'm saying. So I was caught red-handed because I said I submitted the assignment. And then I said I already sent it in the email. Maybe it went in the spam or this or that. Then it tried, went bam and really, caught me red. No, you did not. So like that, So I felt like, that how much a liar I am. I still, turn back to that instance and say, such a liar I am. Right. So anyway, my point is this tendency, whenever we try to overcome the laws that are set by the Lord, I get into difficulty. You can go back to all the difficulties we have had. Somewhere or the other, I would have, overstepped. So it is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya is giving us trouble in the shape of threefold miseries. So without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which is the cause of demoniac life. So Prabhupada is saying, if one is not in the mode of goodness and is the mode of passion and ignorance, then what happens? In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not excited. One must become excited. What is the purpose of hearing Shastra? To become excited. Hey, I am soul. I am in this body. Why should I take this body? I will do bhakti from now on. Bhakti is very simple. I chant Hare Krishna mantra, clap my hands, dance very nicely. I am going to go back to God. This excitement must come. Correct? This is the purpose of reading Shastra. After hearing Shastra, it's not like morose. No. I have to become excited. Wow, nice prospect. My current circumstance, let it be whatever it is. There's only one lifetime now. This is not my entire life. There's only one lifetime. What is there? Next life I'm going to go back to God. I'm not going to come here. One lifetime, maybe some year my hand is gone, my ear is gone, my this is gone, that is gone. I have maybe not such a great job. Maybe my spouse is like this, my job is like this, maybe I'm born in America. Whatever it is. Doesn't matter. But I am eternal. What is the problem? No problem. No problem. So whenever you think you are the body, will become depressed. Whenever I understand we are the soul, part and parcel of the Lord, we become enthusiastic, very happy. No problems. What is the problem? Right? So any depression, any feeling low is because of narrow vision. So what do we do when we feel narrow? That means we are in Maya. So when we hear from the devotees, continuously hear, open your ears. That is why Krishna has given us 2 ears. Continuously hear, and 2 ears that are always open. Right? That are always open. So continuously hear, then you will never become morose. You will never feel very narrow situation of life. You won't see that and get bewildered. And you must always have this broad perspective. Right. So when we have that, then we always feel happy and enthusiastic. So, and if however one is able to be guided by a proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation to the higher stage, then one's life becomes successful. So the spiritual master tells you, guides you, this is how you have to perform bhakti. If you're not feeling like this when you're chanting, this is what you're doing in this way. But if one is sincere, then one is sincere to the mood, one has captured the mood, the instructions need not be very many. But when it has not captured the mood, we need to go to the spiritual master many times to get instructions. What do I need to do this? What do I need to do that? This, that. Because if you capture the mood, Prabhupada caught the mood of the spiritual master. He caught the mood because from the mood comes philosophy. From the philosophy of the spiritual master comes strategies. From the strategies comes action. Correct or not? So when he has captured the mood, he can execute the strategy of the spiritual master immediately. Immediately. When he has not captured the mood, so Rupa Goswami has captured the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Manobhishtam. That is why we are trying to read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Someone is knocking the door. Okay. That is why Mahaprabhu ordered Rupa Goswami to write Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So anyway, so I'll try to maybe hear the glories of Srivas Thakur, how he imbibed this devotional service in his life, how he was absorbed, in this mood of prosecuting this process constantly in the right appropriate bhav. Any questions or comments on the shloka before we go to the next step, next stage? 20-25 minutes maybe, 20 minutes. Okay, no one has any questions. Reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Reading from Adi Leela, 17th chapter. So this happens when Mahaprabhu actually came back. Initially, when Mahaprabhu even was Nimai Pandit, right? Mahaprabhu in his Balya Leela, he used to make fun of Srivas Pandit. And Srivas Pandit was more a fatherly figure, correct? And Nimai Pandit was a young boy, right? And Srivas Thakur was always praying. Of course, Mahaprabhu, for the sake of pastime, he acted like a proud boy. Right? He was more interested in Nyaya, Tarkam, Pandityam, debate. This is what Nimai Pandit was predominantly interested in. And Srivas Thakur will be constantly praying, right? When will this Nimai Pandit take to Krishna consciousness? When will this Nimai Pandit take to Krishna consciousness? Like that Srivas Pandit used to be praying like that. And sometimes Mahaprabhu used to make fun of Srivas Thakur also, right? Jokingly, in a very what to say, like a child, like he will make fun. So when Mahaprabhu, after going to Gaya for his father's Shraddha, he met Ishwara Puri and he came back with ecstatic symptoms when he exhibited. Then Srivas Thakur was the first person who was very, very happy. You saw Nimai Pandit, Nimai Pandit is see a great transformation in Nimai Pandit. He is no longer Nimai Pandit. He was not like a dry logician, Navya Nyaya. So it was the bastion of Navya Nyaya, I mentioned before also, right? So Nyaya is like if someone has read Nyaya, right, it is like reading AI right now. If you know AI right now, what is the prestige you get? Similarly, if someone has a Tarkika, if someone knows Tarkam, it is even more prestigious than even Vyakarana. So Vyakaranam is a little less. Vyakaranam means grammar, which means you know exactly what Shastra means what. You can exactly tell the meaning of this line. This is Vyakarana. Hari Parshad was telling like how when he was a small child, he read this Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi, and then he said this Ashtadhyayi. So this is all Vyakarana Shastra, correct? So that tells you what is the grammatical way to actually deduce the meaning of something. But anyway, my point is Mahaprabhu was a Navya Nayayika, great logician. He could just tuck, 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 he could penetrate and then defeat your logic, and then you'll feel like a fool. Right? So, so Mahaprabhu was like that. So Srivas Thakur was very happy. So, and during this, when he came back, Mahaprabhu gave love for Godhead to Sachi Devi. This is all more elaborately mentioned in the Madhya Nantya Leela. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was always afraid whether, when will I leave this body? He was not sure. So in the beginning of Adi Leela, Kaviraj Goswami Pad is writing that my hands are shaking. It is trembling as I write. I do not know how I am writing. I am writing, my hands are trembling. Right? But somehow shlokas are coming like that. I do not know how this is happening. It's happening by the mercy of Mahaprabhu only. Right? So what he wrote in his frail age with so much ecstasy, with such a condition, should we read or not sincerely? How much sincerely I should be reading that, right? And this comes actually, I'll read that, it's very nice. So he's writing, this comes in the introduction, I think, right? I forgot the exact verse, I'm not able to find it. You know the verse? Anyone knows the verse? I forgot where it comes in Adi Leela. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad mentions bulk of it in Adi Leela, some of this. And again he expands in the Madhya Leela. And again he expands something in the Antya Leela. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is not like chronological, no? From the time Mahaprabhu was born, right? Adi Leela is when, like, this year to this year. Some pastimes, even when he was in Puri, you would find this in Adi Leela. Right? Like that it is. So one devotee, of course, right now is Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj. Before he was Sutapa Prabhu. So he tried to chronologically put all of this in one book. Right? And it's there on his website also. So he did a whole summary of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So anyone who's reading Chaitanya Charitamrita exactly knows, right, which part of the Leela is in which shloka and which, Adi Leela or Madhya Leela or Antya Leela. Right? Someone is interested, I can send you the link. I usually refer to that because I get confused when I go through this. Right? Sometimes this is there in Adi Leela, right? This is there in Madhya Leela, right? Like that. So Srivas Thakur, right? I'll read. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, repeat. I mean, I can read from this shloka then. So Mahaprabhu, as I said, used to lead Kirtan at Shiva Sangam, and I'm reading from there. Tabhe Prabhu Shrivasera Grihe Nirantara Ratre Sankirtana Koila Eke Samvatsara. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu regularly led congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in the house of Srivas Thakur every night for 1 full year. Kapata diya kirtan kare parama veshe pashandiha site aishe napaya praveshe. His ecstatic chanting was performed with the doors closed so that non-believers who came to make fun could not gain entrance. Kirtana shuni bahire tara jwali pudi mare Shrivasere dukka dite nana yukti kare. The non-believers almost burnt to ashes and died out of envy. To retaliate, they planned various ways to give trouble to Srivas Thakur. And one of the atheists who wanted to give trouble to Srivas Thakur, his name was Gopala Chapal. Right? He was a Brahmana. His philosophy was that Srivas Thakur, though he was a Brahmana, born in a Brahmin family, Srivas Thakur used to embrace Haridas Thakur, who was born in a Mlecha family, born in a Muslim family, and he used to dance with him. They were neighbors, more or less. And Gopal Chapal, being born in a Brahmin family, he thought this is spoiling the entire Vedic reputation. He's chanting, he's dancing, he's embracing. He did not even want Haridas Thakur's shadow to fall on his house. Because he felt if Haridas Thakur's shadow fell on my house, he felt I have to bathe it, clean it with whole cow dung and all of that. It's completely impure because he's a Mlecha, he's a Muslim. So how can his shadow fall on my house? So he did not like Srivas Thakur and he used to spread rumors. He tried his best. And see, every envy that we have towards others will be rationalized by some argument. Envy will always have a rational. Hate will always have a rational. Hate will never say, I hate you like that. It will not say that. It will give what this person has done. Or Shastra himself is not following this, he is not following that. He's actually obscuring the meanings of the Vedas. He's like an enemy to Shastra. So Krishna will be very pleased with what I'm doing to Srivas Thakur. This is how Chapala Gopal would rationalize in his mind. Right? But actually, within his own heart, deep down, Gopal Chapal had great envy for Srivas Thakur because he was very famous. Because people are very attracted towards soft nature, it's constant in ecstasy. And everyone is attracted to Srivas Thakur and Chapal Gopal did not like that. Ekadina Vipranama Gopala Chapala Pashandi Pradhana Sei Durmukha Vachala Bhavani Pujara Shobha Samagri Lana Ratre Shiva Sera Dware Sthana Lepana. So Srivas Thakur's house, there was amazing tumultuous kirtan going on. And sometimes Mahaprabhu would exhibit his supreme spiritual form. Sometimes he would exhibit his form as Varahadev. Sometimes he would exhibit his form as Lord Ramachandra to different devotees, right? While the kirtan was going on. And in this way, no one can imagine. It is said that Shiva Sangam is non-different from Rasasthali. We have Rasasthali where Krishna performed Rasa Leela, is it not? So the same mood that was there in Rasa Leela is what Mahaprabhu is trying to experience. So we are celebrating Jagannath Rath Yatra, right? So what is Rath Yatra? Rath Yatra is when Mahaprabhu is during this time of Surya Grahan. After 48 years, after Krishna left Vrindavan, after 48 years, Krishna comes to Kurukshetra. During Surya Grahan. And Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamaya are crying profusely. Hari Parshad was explaining this actually yesterday. And Krishna could not cry. Why? Because if he cried, it is Maryada Ullanghana. Because he cannot cry as a Kshatriya. So he withheld his tears. Because if soldiers are seeing me crying in Kurukshetra, then what will they think? She was feeling so much separation from the Vrajvasis. And basically the topic of yesterday's talk was like, what did Radharani feel and what did she say to Krishna when she met him during this time of Surya Grahan after 48 years? The separation she felt. After 48 years, you did not even tell me you are leaving, and Krishna left. He didn't come back. And Radharani is hankering, when will Krishna come back? When will Krishna come back? When will Krishna come back? And this feeling that Radharani is feeling, she is telling Krishna, you can experience this feeling only when you come back and experience the same thing. If at all there is a next life, then I wish that I am Krishna and you are Radharani. So you can experience this bhav, what it means to suffer this pain of separation that I suffered. Right? So this feeling that Krishna had during this time, this is a very important point, the Surya Grahan time, when Krishna meets Radharani. And this forms the internal reason for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna desires, so if you see the Adi Lila, there are 3 shlokas that talks about the internal reasons for the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desires that when will this time come, right, that I can again meet Krishna, When will this time come? Again I can meet Krishna. So this is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling from this bottom of his heart. From the bottom of his heart is always experiencing separation. So you know how does Chaitanya Charitamrita end? In a sad way or a happy way? Sad way. Sad way. Why? Because Mahaprabhu is experiencing separation, complete separation. Sometimes he goes and tries to enter into the ocean, and again the fisherman finds the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya was blabbering, and seeing this Mahaprabhu, fisherman also gets mad in ecstasy of Krishna. He also gets mad. This fisherman who tried to save Mahaprabhu, he also gets mad. And seeing the madness of fisherman, this Swarup Damodar and everyone comes to know, okay, he has met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be here only. This is how they find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because whomever meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they also get mad. They also get mad. So to experience this madness of Srimati Radhika, Mahaprabhu is coming. And when Mahaprabhu is having darshan of Lord Jagannath, because Lord Jagannath is exactly the same Krishna in Dwaraka. He is the same Krishna in Kurukshetra. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? A Radha Rani who's experienced separation from Krishna for a long time. The same meeting that Radharani had with Krishna during Surya Grahana in Kurukshetra is the time of Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra. And the place that happens, the meeting happens, is the Gundicha Mandir, where Krishna is actually present in Gundicha. That is the time. And this pastime is going on, this whole separation that Mahaprabhu is feeling, the height of that separation, this is happening in Srivasangam. And he chose to do that in the house of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur. So when Mahaprabhu saw Jagannath, Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Please cast your merciful glance upon me. And Mahaprabhu could not tolerate separation from Jagannathji. It's not possible. And he used to run. And when during Snan Yatra and Mahaprabhu could not tolerate separation, he will go to Alvarna temple. And if you go to Alvarna temple, you would exactly see when Mahaprabhu offered obeisances, the rock would be melted. The rock is melted. The stone melts. Why? Viraha tapam. Pain of separation. Pain of separation. So this is what is Rath Yatra actually. I mean, maybe I could also, because of the Rath Yatra, I could have also spoken about the tattva and also the pastimes, how Jagannathji appeared. I don't know, did anyone come last week to Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj lecture? No? You came to the ISKCON Detroit temple? So I think in Farmington temple, Maharaj did not talk. Yeah, it's a very nice, Maharaj explained very nicely actually the appearance of Lord Jagannath. But this is the tattva behind Rath Yatra, right? Of course, Rath Yatra is not about wearing your favorite Indian dress, your Indian kurta or your gargaj, whatever, right? And then you buy that ice cream, you buy that cutlet, or you buy that this. That's not Rath Yatra, right? That is for the commoners who do not know anything. But for someone who knows the tattva, right? So try to read these, especially I think Antya Leela it comes, right? Madhya Leela also. I can send you the chapters. Right? How Mahaprabhu pulled the Rath. Read these chapters. So you'll understand the tattva. But anyway, the point is, this is how Srivas Thakur, in Srivas Angam, this used to happen. And this Gopal Chapal was very talkative. Pashanti Pradhana Sve Durmukha Vachal. He was very talkative. And whatever he wanted, he was a Tantrika. Tantrika means 5 ma, right? 5 ma means Mamsa, Madhu. 5 things in this way they used to, tantric way of worshipping Durga Devi is a little Rajasic and Tamasic. So he had meat, he had wine, he had, madhu and all of that place. Flesh, everything. Madhu, Mamsa, I forgot what are the 5 mas. Anyone knows? Madhu, Mamsa, and there are 5 mas usually you offer to Durga Devi, Bhavani, in Tantric. So in this way, Shiva's Thakur's house, this Chapal Gopal felt everything. So he had a plantain leaf and he placed everything. Turmeric, yeah. So Haridra, Sindura, or Rakta, Chandana, Tandula. Red sandalwood, rice, Oda, Pula, turmeric. Right, this is what he kept. And then he placed a pot of wine beside all this. And in the morning, Madhya Bhando Pashe Dhari Nija Ghare Gela, Prata Kale Srivastaha Te Dhekila. So when he opened this door, he saw all this paraphernalia present outside his house, Srivas Angan. And then, Bada Bada Loka Shaba Anila Bolaya Shaba Reko He Srivasa Hasiya Hasiya. And Srivas Thakur called everyone, respectable gentlemen of the neighborhood, and smilingly addressed them as follows. Nityaratre Koriyami Bhavani Pujana Amara Mahima Deka Brahmana Sajjana. Gentlemen, every night, this is what Chapal Gopal wanted to tell Srivas Thakur, that he wanted to prove that Srivas Thakur was actually a worshipper of Bhavani. He is not a devotee. See, he is drinking wine, he is eating meat. He is not a Vaishnava, he is cheating. Externally, he is acting like a Vaishnava. But the night what he is doing, he is worshipping Bhavani. My Ishtadev only is worshipping. In this way, Chapal Gopal wanted to prove to everyone. Right? He wanted to say Srivas Thakur is a Chapal. It's a pretender. Inside one thing, outside something else. And what is Srivas Thakur saying? He is not saying, I am not. He is not defending himself. He is not defending himself. He is telling, actually, you know what? I am worshipping. I am worshipping Bhavani every day, every night. Since the paraphernalia of the worship is present here, now all you respectable Brahmanas and members of the higher caste and understand my position. Tobe shobo shishtha loka kare hahakara oiche karma heta kaila kon durachara. Then all the assembled gentlemen explain, what is this? What is this? Who has performed such mischievous activities? Who is that sinful man? Srivas Thakur is not defending himself. A devotee does not defend himself. A devotee lets Krishna do the talking. Srivas Thakur is exemplifying that. A devotee does not say, I am good, I am good, I am good. Srivas Thakur is exemplifying that. Hadi ke aniya shobo dura kara ila jala goma yadiya shehi sthana lepa ila. They called for a sweeper who threw all the items of worship far away and cleansed the place by mopping it with a mixture of water and cow dung. And then Tina Dina Rahi Shei Gopala Chapala Sarvange Hoile Kushta Vahe Rakta Dhara. After 3 days, leprosy attacked Gopal Chapal and blood oozed from sores all over his body. Incessantly covered with germs and insects biting him all over the body, Gopal Chapal felt unbearable pain. His entire body burned in distress. And Gopal Chapal, in those days, leprosy is a communicable disease, right? So it's not that it's only bodily pain. He was also exterminated from the whole village. So he had to live outside the village. So he's deserted. And one day, Ekadina Balle Kichu Prabhu Kede Kiya. One day he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu go past. Grama Sambandeyami Toma Rama Tula Bhagina Muyi Kushta Vyadite Honachi Vyakula. Hey, my dear nephew, I am your maternal uncle. In village relationship, I am your maternal uncle. Please see how leprosy has affected me. Lokashobha Uddharite Tomar Avatara. You are uplifting everyone because your avatara is so great. Muni Bada Dhuki More Kahera Uddhara. Please uplift me also. I am greatly unhappy. I am a very fallen soul. Etashuni Mahaprabhu Hoile Krudha Mana. He became very angry. Krodha Veshe Bale Tare Tarjene Vachana. He started chastising him with his words. Are papi bhakto dveshi tora na uddharimu koti janma yei mate kidhai kao imu. Hundreds of lifetimes, crores of lifetimes, no one can uplift you. Because you are a papi, you are a bhakta dveshi. You are envious towards devotees. You are a papi. There is no upliftment for you. Right? And what will I do? Koti janma yei mate kidhai kao imu. I'll make sure that you are bitten by germs, worms for millions of lifetimes. Right? For this offense, what you have done to Srivas Thakur, to put him in blame, you'll have to falter into hellish life for 10 million births. appeared in this incarnation to kill the demons, and after killing them to preach the cult of devotional service. After saying this, the Lord left to take his bath in the Ganges, and that sinful man did not give up his life but continued to suffer. When Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, went to Jagannath Puri, then came back to the village of Kulia. Upon his return, that sinful man took shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord, being merciful to him, gave him instructions for his benefit. If committed an offense at the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur, the Lord said, first you must go there and beg for his mercy. And then if he gives you his blessings and you do not commit such sins again, you will be freed from these reactions. Then the Brahman Gopal Chapal went to Srivas Thakur and took shelter of his lotus feet. And by Srivas Thakur's mercy, he was freed from all sinful reactions. So, when Gopal Chapal tried to beg forgiveness at Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, what did he want? What did he want? He wanted to escape the reactions alone. I want to escape the reactions. Like one time, a dacoit was there in Mayapur. He stole something. Everyone caught him red-handed and brought him to Srila Prabhupada. And he fell at the lotus feet of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please forgive me. Because what is the nature of a sadhu? Anyone falls at your lotus feet, you have to forgive him. So Prabhupada forgave him. Okay, fine. You do this seva, do this, do that. But this sadhu had an ulterior, this dacoit had an ulterior motive. He said, no, I'll be as a sadhu and continue to do what I want to do. And he repeated this same mistake again. And when he came to Prabhupada, said, no, not anymore. You go outside the Mayapur temple. Right. Just once, not another time. Just once, not another time. So, for our anarthas to go away, for our tendencies of sinful reactions to go away, it is not sufficient to simply call out to the Lord when I am suffering. That is not enough. That is not sufficient to actually purify us. Mahaprabhu is very merciful. Mahaprabhu is very merciful. So he wanted to purify Chapal Gopal. And so he waited until Chapal Gopal suffered sufficiently. So he could realize actually there is no other way than to reform myself. Not opportunistically going to the Lord. I realize without changing myself, I'll continue to suffer. And he could see Srivas Thakur's mood. And Srivas Thakur did not see him as an enemy. Srivas Thakur for all the time was actually praying for Chapal Gopal. Like Ambarish Maharaj was praying for Durvasa Muni. And seeing the tender heart of Srivas Thakur, he actually felt, I'm such a fool. And when he went to Srivas Thakur and begged forgiveness, Srivas Thakur said, I have nothing. I have no remorse. I don't even feel offended. This is the bigger problem. When you offend a devotee who does not feel offended when you're actually offending him, then it is the greatest problem. When he feels offended, at least the devotee is not so elevated. I mean, that is also an offense only. But when he does not even feel offended when we offend a devotee, that means our life is finished. Our life is finished. So when Chapal Gopal offended Srivas Thakur didn't feel he was offended. And Srivas Thakur did not say, now you take shelter at my lotus feet. Srivas Thakur says, Bhaja Gorango, Kaha Gorango, Laha Gorangera Nam Re, She Goranger Name Pabe, Sheho Amar Pran Re, Bhaja Gorango, Kaha Gorango. Right? You chant the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you chant the name of Mahaprabhu, you chant the name of the Lord, Hari, Hari. And when Srivas Thakur was chanting, Chapal Gopal could not even chant because his nose had fallen off. His hands had fallen off. His legs had fallen off. This is what happens in leprosy. Such a deadly disease. He could not even chant, but he took all his effort with all the feeling, with all the repentance he could muster. He chanted the name of Mahaprabhu. And as soon as he chanted the name of Mahaprabhu, all his leprosy went away. All his leprosy went away. And he cried at the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur, please forgive me. I am such a fool. Why should I bear enviousness, maliciousness towards you? What a fool I should have been to do this. Please forgive me. So in this way, Srivas Thakur is exhibiting this mood, this bhav of what it means to be a devotee. While someone else who's following seemingly the instructions of the Shastra, but the external instructions, is becoming envious. But who's getting into the heart of the Vedas, which is basically the chanting the name of the Lord, serving the Lord with great humility, not considering anyone as friend or enemy, not trying to defend oneself, not trying to make enemies, but accepting everything as the mercy of Krishna. This is the bhav of a person who's actually on the platform of raga anuga sadhana, one who's actually on the platform of affection for the Lord. He does not try to defend oneself, he does not try to bear malice, and at the same time, he is very conscious if someone should not feel miserable because of me. This is what Srivas Thakur felt. No? So I'll stop here. Maybe there are more pastimes. You can read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are beautiful pastimes of how, Srivas Thakur's kirtan was going on. Srivas Thakur's son passes away, but he doesn't disturb Mahaprabhu's kirtan. Because my dear Mahaprabhu is doing kirtan. How can I disturb his kirtan? But Mahaprabhu could not chant properly. Something is wrong here. Something is amiss. And then Srivas Thakur admits, yes, my son left his body. And Mahaprabhu brings the son back to life. And the son speaks. And then he goes back to Godhead. All there in Chaitanya. I think Bhagavata Charitamrita, I do not know. Many pastimes like this of Srivas Thakur, right? So, and also during this Mahaprakash Leela. So you can read this, if you're a part of this reading group or anything like that. So please read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll understand these, behavior of devotees. So I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhishta kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Please forgive me if I misspoke something. Any questions or comments are welcome. Any questions or comments? Okay, no one has any questions or comments. Thank you, devotees, for your association. Srivas Thakur ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.